I've been poorly. Thanks, thyroid. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I was sent this a while back by my good friend Benoit because he was a little bit bored of me seeing me knocking stuff over all the time. And that's running low. I do have another one knocking out somewhere. So he built me this. You put your little water in there. And you've got your bottle there. And you've got your brush there. And it's brilliant. Thank you, Benoit. It's the first chance I've had to use it properly. Yes. Liking this. So, because it's so huge and mathis and you won't be able to see what I'm doing, I'm going to knock that off camera just while I sort these out. Now, the one point all been screaming at all the way throughout the photo etch build, the photo etch part, is just having a look at these decals. I'm thinking to myself, wow, that Union flag is huge. This one here, it's huge compared to that tiny little space I've got above the fender. Yeah, I've put the photo etch slightly too high, and it should have actually gone right to the top rather than just above where the fender is. So it should have actually gone a little bit lower down, right about there, which means the Union flag would fit. So it's not a huge problem. I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'll take care of this one first anyway. What I'm going to do is, ooh, that's a point. Where's my tweezers? So, because these are tiny as well, I'm not actually going to use water. Been doing some touch-ups, can you tell? I'm not actually going to use any water. I'm just going to use the decal pot straight as it is. Kind of like I did with the Rossi and Yamaha build. So I'm going to, wow. I'm always, doesn't matter how many times I say it, I'm always taken by surprise by just how smelly that is. I'm going to wipe that to the back of the paper. I'm just going to add that to the area there, slap bang in the middle, just to get it ready, and then hopefully, not quite yet, I should have tested this first. There we go, decal moves, just slick the area a little bit more. Squeak! Put it into place. Put that into place just there. Smooth it down with the brush. Actually, I'm going to leave that as it is. So this set is actually going to soften the decal just a little bit, which should hopefully help it take that shape there, like so. Just going to wipe the excess away off the brush. And use the brush itself just to help it conform to that little edge. At this point you get a million people shouting, oh, use a Q-tip, use a cotton bud. It's fine. I doubt the camera's going to pick that up and get close enough where you can actually see it's softened enough that it is actually taking the shape of that rivet strip. Like so. That's fine. Leave that to dry now. This is the bit I'm actually looking forward to on this build. There's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 decals. That's it. That's all I've got to worry about. So on here I need these hazard strips. Are these hazard strips? or unit markings? Let me know in the comments. If you'd be so kind. Get a fair bit in that area there, like so. I wouldn't actually do this on decals larger than this. Do this on decals larger than this. That's great grammar. Because there's a good chance that your decal will go too soft, and the second you try and move it, it will tear. As I found out on larger kits. Now, there are two massive big buckles right in the way there. But if I carry on working with the brush, you should be able to see. If I can get that steady enough. If I carry on working with the brush, you can actually see the decal taking shape around that buckle and then begin to tear away from the buckle, and that's fine. And then what we can do is carry on using the brush. This is why I'm not using a Q-tip, because we're using decal softener. We can actually form these lumps and bumps with the brush whilst taking away the excess at the same time. And hopefully that was on camera. Oh, focused there. And this is what I've seen on the reference photos. The paint that they've used on the vehicle itself does go as high as this, up to these buckles, but then there's no paint on the buckles themselves. So I'm trying to use my blade edge just to help that along, like so. I don't know if you can make that out by using a blade tip. I've actually just added a couple of scuffs to that paint, which just lifts the realism. To get a bit of free chipping in there as well. I like that. You can shift. There we go. Alright, I'm playing with it too much now, so I'm stripping the red from the decal. Yeah, stripping the red from the decals, so I'm just going to let that sit for a while now. And there's enough softener on there and underneath that it'll just suck down a little bit before we start using the micro sole, which is this one, which makes it all go wibbly wobbly. Just helps it all grab down. I know, super huge hand, look at that. So I need to back out again so you can see what I'm doing. Look, like so. So I'll do the same technique again here. And then after that, they're pretty much easy. These decals, yeah, I've got to jinx that now, haven't I? So flood that back there. Grab this fella here. Plenty of solution there. Ooh, been spraying without a mask on again. That's very silly. Do try not to do that. Do use plenty of ventilation, wear a mask. I'm actually watching for here, I can actually see bubbles forming underneath the decal as it's getting ready to pull away. Again, I don't think I can get you close enough to that. Stop shaking. No, it's not quite showing on my screen, so I'm not too sure if that'll turn out as you see it. But there are actually bubbles forming underneath, which means it's ready. So slide that off and away. Ooh, shaky hand. Now you start shaking. Why? Let's make sure we're lined up at the bottom edge of the can. There we go. Oops. So I'm just going to use the brush just to help guide it around. If we work patiently, very calmly, we can actually force the decal around these buckles again, like so. Just a little bit of pressure just to get it on these two grooves here, just to persuade it, and then work around that buckle there, and the decal splits nicely. At this time, this is the side that's, oh hang on, this is the weathered side, isn't it? Yeah. This is the side we're going to do weathering on. So I'm actually going to leave those two little red bits there on the buckle itself. Not going to chip away like we did a minute ago. Going to leave those, and we'll take those off afterwards once this decal's set. So happy enough with that it's sitting down. So I'm going to let that dry completely. And the only thing I've got to worry about now is making sure that these go on straight. So I'll take that. Number there. Oops. So that's going on to this one here. Ooh, don't you dare start. Oh, I have got shaky hands. Like there, do that there. Like so. So again, this is all from this bottle here. Used no water so far. Like I say, decals this small, you shouldn't need to. It's only the big decals. If you try this with a big decal, you will split it. With knife forward, before I do myself a fox.
And there's the first cut yet. I'm going to have to go and get a plaster now. Ow.
And hopefully I can get all this into one clip. What are we on so far? 14.5 minutes. If I can get all this in one clip, that'll be super. Just move that a little bit further along, and that should be that there. So just on the paper I'm going to take excess off my brush, work the excess from underneath. I find this way you've got a lot more control over the amount of fluid I'm removing. There we go, done. What's that? Just need to put the first aid cross on here. Yeah, the first aid kit that I used to go to, and there'd be absolutely nothing in there. It's like that at work as well. On the nominated first aider in work, guarantee, because the work we do with all the folders, stuff like that, the new folders give you a right nasty nick, like razors, so you get like a big slash across your finger if you pick them up wrong, or you get the secretaries using staples to attach something to a front cover, which they're not supposed to do, but they do. They attach a staple. You can guarantee staple as they flick up. So as you pick up a set of notes up, if you can't quite grasp it from the shelf, move your hand back. As you can imagine, the staple sticking out. Yeah. And I'll go running off to the first aid kit. Somebody stood there, like blood everywhere. You can see all the giblets inside the fingers. Why are there no plasters? Why are there no this? Why are there no that? Why no the other? Well, nobody told me. I told you last time. Because I don't get paid enough to do that kind of job to start with the ordering, I'm not allowed to stay on top of it. So you can guarantee every Monday I'll walk in. You ordered that first aid kit yet? Oh no, I've not done it yet. Well, get on it. You're breaking the health and safety law. Smashing, that went on properly. Very gentle touch with the brush. You see how much excess came away then? I do prefer that technique. I say, normally if I go that's it with a Q-tip or a cotton bud or whatever we're calling it this week, I tend to lift the decal away. And with that you can apply the right amount of pressure. I like that. That's on here. Ooh, remind me, I need to do Union flag on that one. I'm just resting it just off camera. Oh, just off camera, just there. Oh, you see my legs. Just while I get this into place. Oops. Like so. Bring it back over so you're not looking at my legs. Not too far across. And that should be lovely just there. Like so. Lovely. Right, so I'll let that evaporate. Oh, I'm enjoying these decals. Now we're approaching 20 minutes. Hopefully my camera's not going to go boop and switch itself off like it normally does. 3, 2, 1, 20 minutes. Yay, we're still going. Magic. Magic. I'm enjoying these. It's off. And again, just using the brush to flatten it down, take the excess away. Lovely, job done. If you notice, I've got one strip of tape on that brush with a number 1 written on top of the bottle for the micro set, because it's this one we use first. As you'll see in a moment or two, I have the micro sol, which is bottle number 2, because we use this one second. 2 bits of tape to show me that I used that brush. If you can use separate brushes for this. What a bit of daft music I played over the top of that then. Yeah. Get it the right way around. So this decal goes right slap bang in the middle there. I'm enjoying this. 9 decals, that's it. 9. I'm using too many fingers. 9. That's it. Lovely. Just try and get that line up there. Oh, quiet then, because I was concentrating. Which means good. Right, last one. Slab bang in the middle of that panel there. Oh, that's a point. Showing here on the instructions, there's that plate there on the basket. If you make that out just there. Doesn't show it on the top view, but I don't remember seeing that in the instructions. Ooh. Let's go and have a look at that. Get off, get off, get off. Holding my breath then. Lovely, right. Let all that settle down for about an hour. Give or take, and then we'll come back and we'll whack that one over the top, which will just make it all wrinkle up and shrivel back down again. Especially here where we've got the wrinkles on the, not the wrinkles, the ribbing on those boxes. It just help them settle down a little bit. So, see you in a minute.